There is hope for Xenoblade Chronicles 4. Yeah, so today we will be talking about the hope for Xenoblade Chronicles 4. And yeah, I know, Xenoblade isn't the biggest franchise right now. It's still pretty small, it's still a pretty niche franchise, I would say. But they're underrated. It's an underrated franchise, in my opinion. I know it's not very popular, and a lot of people haven't played it, but I recommend it. They are very, very good games, and I've kind of become a fan in a way. I mean, I really have. I've enjoyed all the games. So it's got its start all the way back on the Wii. Xenoblade Chronicles 1 released all the way back on the Wii, and it wasn't very popular at the time when it released. I don't think no one really even heard about it when it got released. No one really cared too much, and Reggie Fils-Aimé, the president of Nintendo at the time, was actually he actually was trying to not get it released in North America. He just wanted it to be in Japan only for some reason. But they ended up releasing it in the US anyways. But thank goodness they did. But, I didn't know about Xenoblade Chronicles on the Wii. Growing up, I never heard of the franchise at all. During the Wii U era, if you've watched the channel, never owned a Wii U at the time. You had Xenoblade Chronicles X, which was just a completely different game on the Wii U. So that was the Xenoblade for Wii U. But Xenoblade was still pretty small, and Shulk got his debut in Super Smash Bros. And that's when people started to recognize him as this bigger franchise. And Xenoblade Chronicles 2 released on the Nintendo Switch 1 in the launch year, and that game actually did really well on the Switch. It sold, I think, it's like close to 3 million copies, so that's pretty well for a small franchise. It's definitely growth. And so later on, they ended up releasing Xenoblade Chronicles 1. But ported over to the Switch, which was the definitive edition, which was the first game I played. I didn't play Xenoblade Chronicles 2 when it released on the Switch, but it seemed like to me this franchise was getting bigger, because I remember people were talking about it more, and how underrated it is. So I was like, well, I'll just wait see if Nintendo releases the first game on the Switch. And so eventually they did. So I picked it up, I played through it. Shulk's the main character. I don't know. I fell in love with the story of the game. I thought it was very, very cool. The strategy combat that you have in the game was very, very unique. And I didn't find it very bad at all. I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. It was a very good game overall, and so that's kind of when I became a fan. And so obviously I picked up the second one, I played through that, fell in love with that one as well, and then the third game also got announced on the Switch, and so that was like the trilogy, the three games, and that kind of completed the whole story. And as of recently of 2025, Xenoblade Chronicles X, all the way back on the Wii U, just got a port to the Switch as well, its own definitive edition. And so now you can play all the Xenoblade games on the Nintendo Switch, or Switch 2 if you want. And I'm surprised Nintendo hasn't released a Switch 2 update for any of these games at all, like 2 or 1, to enhance the graphics, because these are actually very big games. There's a lot in them. Like, the world is massive in these games. I don't think people understand. Like, I'm telling you, people need to try these games out. But I'm surprised it runs on the Switch at all, like any of these games, because there's just so much stuff they throw in these games. It's very compact. But the graphics are awful in these, and frame rate drops happen quite often in these games. So I'm surprised Nintendo hasn't released a Switch 2 version of any of these, or just an enhanced version, like a free update, but who knows, you know Nintendo, the weird things that they do. But now, if you have a Switch, or a Switch 2, either one, you can play all the Xenoblade games. Now, I recommend starting with the first one. But try them out. You might like them. I don't know. I think they're pretty underrated. So, Xenoblade Chronicles 4. The chances of that happening, I feel like, are very likely. I honestly feel like they're probably already working on it right now as we speak. Yes, it's still a smaller franchise. Like, when the first game got re-released on the Switch, it sold about 2 million copies, so it did fairly well for the franchise. And I think that was kind of the same thing for the third one. And X just got released about a year ago now, back in 2025. So that's still coming in. I'm surprised they haven't done an update for that either, since it's still kind of a newer game on the Switch. But yeah, I think the popularity is growing for this franchise. I think there's more fans now, and I think they'll continue to make these games. It seems like they like to make them pretty quickly. I mean, we got Xenoblade 2 and 3 brand new games on the Switch lifecycle, so that's pretty cool. And I could see for the Switch 2 they could have a Xenoblade Chronicles 4. Now, well, I think it's this year. I don't know. Maybe it's possible they could announce that. There's already a new Fire Emblem game. If you're into Fire Emblem, that's coming out this year on the Switch 2. But I would honestly say that's a even smaller franchise than Xenoblade. But you know, Fire Emblem's its own little thing. But anyways, Xenoblade Chronicles 4. It could happen anytime. You know, there's an upcoming direct soon. They could get announced, or it's a title for next year, or even later than that. We just don't know. I just think it's definitely going to happen, just because of how popular these games have become.
Oh, but don't you worry, because I had to get my hands on all the amiibo, because I just like to spend my money for no reason, because I'm an idiot. I mean, you got Pyra and Mithra for Smash. Then they got their own amiibos for Xenoblade Chronicles 3. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, I guess I'm an idiot for this.
With all that being said, this is just something I really just have been thinking about lately and wanted to share my thoughts on, and let you know what I think's happening at Nintendo right now, what they're cooking up, and just kind of all these videos of speculating on what's possible, what could happen. And I only do this because I really do think that all of these games that I like predict videos, my prediction videos on whether these next sequel games are happening, I just do them because I feel like they're pretty likely to happen, and just because of how popular all of these have become. So yeah, that's all I really wanted to talk about today. So if you haven't subscribed already, we have a goal of hitting 500 on the channel. We are getting really close, so do that. It's super easy. You just press a button. It helps me out, means a lot to me, so you can if you want to. But yeah, that's all I really want to talk about today. See ya.